Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Cuban Gypsy from Jersey. Luli here with you. Sorry it took a while to come back, but I've been a little bit under the weather. My grandson was here over the holidays. He got sick, and Grandma got sick, but there's nobody I'd rather get sick by than my own grandson. So, all right, so this would be, let's say, part 2 of Ancestor messages, downloads that are coming in for 2025. And I just want to kind of update. If you didn't see the last session, we were talking about the white eagle. He came up as I was talking about ancestors. And the oracle card, white eagle, came up, which is ancestor spirit. How appropriate. And it is to connect with our lineage so that a family wound or pattern can be healed. So I started talking about how ancestors are playing a very prominent role right now with us entering this 9-year, which is 2025. And for me, it's amazing because it is a 9-year for me, numerology wise, and actually my age adds up to 9. So with it being a 9-year, then I know that I'm going and moving through endings, right? I'm finishing a cycle. We are all finishing a cycle, and the ancestors are here because we are finishing that cycle. And it's important for us to go back to our lineage. And a lineage doesn't necessarily always has to be blood related. Of course it is grandma, grandpa, great, going back maybe lifetimes, but it can also be mentors. Mentors are also part of that ancestry tree. So last time I did not read about the white eagle. I'm going to read a little bit about it because I think it's important. The white eagle is a Native American shaman who is dedicated to honoring our spiritual heritage. He is a world-renowned spiritual guide who has been particularly cherished by mediums all over the world. He first spoke through a medium called Grace Cook in the early 20th century. He is the guide who helped create clear channels in our bloodline and our spiritual lineage. So we're talking about 2, okay? So we can access the heart of the creator. He helps us move into sacred ceremony where we can hold sacred space to honor, change, transition, celebration, or anything else that deserves time. He is wonderful for clearing space. For me, eagle, or when I see a hawk, reminds me of my father. And my father had a guide who was he was a shaman, I believe, or an Indian. Cuauhtemoc was the name, and he always had Indians figurines and pictures all over the house as protection. But the ancestors are asking us to go back because it's a time to clear contracts, to end cycles and patterns. And the way to do that is to check and see what it is that we bring into our thought patterns, our beliefs, into our lives that are really not even ours. It is something that we heard or something that we saw being done at home, a way of addressing a problem or a situation. Even DNA, changing our DNA is part of going back and separating ourselves from what we saw, what we picked up and took as our own. That's the only way we're going to change cycles. That's the only way we're going to end contracts. That's the only way we're going to stop a continual cycle of repeating, is by just stopping it. It stops here. It ends with us. By the way, I love that movie. It ends with us. And the ancestors saying is very important. And they are all here, and they're all, it's subtle. But if you're aware, if you are in a practice of meditating, even a walking meditation. For me, walking meditations are huge, and connected with nature. That's how they reach us, is through nature. And today is the first full moon of the year. And it's in Cancer. It's my sign. Oh my God. So yes, it is called the wolf moon. Okay, it is when it was known that wolves during this particular moon in January would howl for food and their packs and all that stuff. That's why it's called the wolf moon. But being that it's in Cancer, we're talking about emotions. Okay, so we're talking what regulates, right? The tides, planets, but mostly for us, emotions. So today is a great day to take that practice, take that meditation and go into, because full moons are really not about manifesting. They're more about introspection, about looking within and seeing maybe what it was during the new moon that we did plant. Do we really want that, or do we want to revise it or change it? It is about endings. It is about bringing to a halt something that it no longer serves your purpose. So if we're talking about ancestors and going back into our lineage and really going deep and seeing what is ours and what isn't, then today is a good day so that we can put an ending to that, or start to, okay? Because we're in a 9-year. In a 9-year, it's almost heading towards completion, right? But we're not going to see that until maybe September. We're actually going to feel those endings and changes, which are all good. They're all good for us because everything is always happening for our greater good. And if you think of that, then it just brings you peace, which leads me to a question or something that I left behind in the other video, in my other session, which was the phrase, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. Now, I asked you to reflect on that. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. I really was very confused with that because I've gone through so many things that, let me tell you, have killed me metaphorically. And in this past year, yeah. And I haven't felt stronger. If anything, I felt a fear. And I have to tell you why, because I did do a lot of work on this. And it is because what I went through that didn't kill me. It was something I was not aware of. It was something that I was blindsided with. And yes, I survived it, but then it made me aware of the possibility that it existed. I never thought that was going to happen. I never thought it was a possibility, but it did. And I survived it. And now it's a possibility that it could happen again. So you would think that would make me stronger. But instead, I felt weaker by it. And after much work, I was given a word to replace because somehow my brain was associating a word, and that's why I couldn't align with it. And they gave me, replace the word with what doesn't kill you makes you stronger with what doesn't kill you makes you wiser. I know what you're saying. Well, semantics, right? Isn't wisdom a strength? Absolutely. It's what makes us strong is wisdom. And when I thought of that, and I thought, wisdom, yes, because what feelings does wisdom bring up in me? It brings peace, calm, of being able to react to anything, not react, being able to respond to everything, knowing and trusting that I have the tools, that I know, and that I can deal with it. So once I replace the word with stronger to wisdom, I said yes. Because stronger, when I think of strong, it makes me feel of pressure, of power, of having to work, having to, it's constrictive, that word strength. But with wisdom, it just opened me up. So that whole saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, doesn't work for me. And if it doesn't work for you, replace it with what doesn't kill you makes you wiser. And it will change. It changed for me everything. of how I think, how I feel, even how I look at my experiences. I consider them all pearls of wisdom, not struggles that I survived from. So yes. So being that it's a Cancer moon, I know I'm jumping around a lot. I'm still a little loopy. Not that I can blame the cold for, because I'm known for it. But we're going to do a moon card, and we're going to do the full moon in Cancer card, which is a personal issue reaches resolution. It is what we're talking about during this Cancer full moon. It's a time for resolutions. Let's work with our ancestors. Let's go back in time. You can do it linear time, meaning, you know, going back to childhood and learning about your grandparents and all that, and take it further to other lifetimes. That is very powerful. So yes, it is a time for personal resolution. I will read you. Can't see it down there. My girls are on strike. I only got one today. So this card is specific. It's a feminine time. Absolutely. It is water. Cancer is feminine, the mother. It's about emotion, the home, your home. Caring for self, mother's care, but it's a caring for self in order to care for others. So it heralds the time to deal with any family issues. Let's go. Let's go back into our ancestry. Let's go back into where we came from. It signals a challenge is now coming to an end. We're here to, what? Find resolution. This card also suggests both that domestic matter or private issue will soon come to a head, and that it's a great time to move. House. Where's your house? So, yes, it's best time to move towards what you want. And as crabs, in a sideway manner. This is not a time to go full head. We are going back, retrospection. We are checking into our who we really are. Okay, so we can't do that yet. It's a 9-year. September, wait for September. So the heightens emotion right now with the moon in Cancer. It can't be ignored, it says. So this means that don't worry. Everything is always working out for your good, for everybody's good. All right, ancestors, let's focus, let's meditate, let's go in there internally. Okay, let's use the full moon in Cancer today to help us through that. And what doesn't kill you makes you wiser. Woohoo! Thank you for that. All right, my friends, that's all I got. Running a little bit out of breath. But, you know, I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow. But there's one thing I do know is that I will see you soon.